Good morning again, St Mills Primary School, Year 5. I'm hoping again that you're all well. Um, I'm going to be a little bit more relaxed today with this new technology. You know how sometimes it can bamboozle me. So if I go wrong, I'm just going to ignore it and I'm going to carry on. Otherwise, I'll be here all day when I should be doing other things. Um, it's a horrible grey day today, a little bit of rain. So it's nice to be inside. So hopefully I will not be disturbed by cats or children. Right, so this is maths again today. And as you can see, we got a WALT, which is to recognize the percent symbol and write percentages as a fraction with a denominator of 100 and as a decimal. So this is kind of their introduction to percentages. And obviously we're good with fractions now. We've done a bit of work on decimals, which I hope you're becoming more confident with. So we'll just see how we get on today. And we're just going to take it easy. So let's have a look at our first page. Okay, so it can be a little bit scary the first time we do anything. So we need to understand that converting fractions into decimals and percentages is not as scary as it might appear. So you would have seen this symbol before, percent, and I know lots of you use the word percent all the time, and it means per 100 or every 100. So, cent is century, centurion. So cent is 100, isn't it? Same for our C in our Roman numerals. So some basic things, if we can remember these, it really helps us with the more complex and slightly trickier sums that we have to do. So if we can remember that 100% is the same as, is equivalent to 1. And that is the same as, is equivalent to, is equal to 100 over 100, is 100 hundredths, or 1. Here we have 50%, which is equivalent to 0.5 as a decimal, if we're converting to a decimal. Or if we're looking at fractions, it becomes 50 over 100. So very quickly, tell the person next to you, if we're going to simplify 50 over 100, what fraction would that become if we were going to simplify it? I'm sure most of you would have got the answer, which is, of course, oh, Mr Davies, a half. Now, that's quite tricky for me. And then over here, we have 10%. Oh, my screen is going to play up, never mind, which is the same as 0.1 as a decimal, and that becomes 10 100th. So I'm sure you'll be able to work out very quickly that that is equivalent to, when we simplify it, tell the person next to you what it would be. 1/10. Not very good at doing circles and the zeros. That's easy to do because we can just cross those out like that. So 1/10 is remaining. So as we're going through this, I would like you just to think how we might do it and keep it as simple as we can. So here's our first slide. We're just going to go into this very quickly. So we've got a square over here, and it's asking us to work out how many parts per the 100 are coloured in. So we know there's 100 here, and I know that because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 across the top. 10 times 10 is 100. So I could count 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'd be really bored by the time I got to about here. But I'm going to go, because I'm a smarter person than that, I'm going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be 64 parts in there. Yep, I'm right. So if that's 64 parts of the 100 coloured in, what would that be as a percentage? Tell the person next to you. Or if you're on your own, shout it out. That's right, 64. And if we were going to convert that into a fraction over 100, it would of course be 64 over 100, and that is equivalent to, is the same as 0.64 as a decimal. Okay, put me on pause in a second and see if you can work out what these ones are. Okay, let's just see what we get. We only had a few here, didn't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 parts per 100 were covered in, I believe. Did I get that one right? Yes, I did. So 8 parts per 100 is equivalent to, is the same as 8%, which is the same as 8 over 100, which is the same as or equals to. Now, this is a tricky one, this. So I'm hoping you remember what your fraction, your decimal lessons from earlier were. It's not 0.8, it is 0.08, because there are 8 100ths. So that one there, as we remember, would be tenths. The next one along would be 100ths, so 8 100ths. Okay, which is the odd one out? So again, I'm going to ask you to put me on pause in a moment and see which one of those is the odd one out. We just had a big clue in the last screen. So you've been on pause and now we're back. So which is the odd one out? So again, we know this is a 10 by 10 grid. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 80 of 100, that's definitely 80% of that square is coloured in. There are definitely 80 parts per 100. And our fraction would be 80 over 100, which means if we were going to simplify it, it would be 8 tenths. And here is the odd one out, 0.08. Because if we went back, we'd know there'd only be 8 of these coloured in. Good. Next screen, Mr Davies. Is it going to go? Okay, true or false. Here we go. True or false. We've got less than and greater than signs here to help us solve the answer. True or false. 42 over 100 is less than 0.8, which is greater than 14%. Remember, they always eat. Charlie Crocodile in the old days would always eat the larger number. So 42 over 100 is less than 0.8. I think we probably would convert everything that we can see on this screen to percentages. Let's see how we get on. So put me on pause and then take it from there. Okay, we're back. So 42 over 100 is 42%. 0.8 is 80%, and that, of course, is 14%. So 42% is certainly less than 80%, and that is greater than 14%. So that first one is true. So 30 parts per 100 is 30%, and that, is it greater than 4%? I think it is. And 0.3 is 30%. Oh, 4% is not greater, it's smaller. So the second one is false. And the final one is true, because 18% is less than 33%, and that is less than 0.5, which is 50%. Okay, I'm going to put you on pause. You're going to put me on pause while you see if you can fill this in. So with your pen and paper, see if you can fill this in. So you're actually going to be converting all of that. Okay, so here we have quite a lot going on here that we need to think about. So 40 over 50, 40 50ths is the same as, is equivalent to 80 100ths, which is equivalent to, it's going to work, 80%. And that decimal, of course, is 0.8 or 0.80. I prefer 0.8. We don't really need to put the 0 on. So what we were doing was converting our fraction so that the denominator becomes 100. So we had to multiply by 2. The same for this one. We multiplied the 50 to get to 100. So the 30, we multiply by 2 to get 60. Whatever we do to the top, we need to do to the bottom. 60%, 0.6. This one, that would have foxed a few of you. 80 over 200. So we don't multiply this time, we have to divide it to get to 100, which is 40 over 100, 40%, or 0.4. Finally, again, quite a tricky one, 130 over 200 means we're going to have to half it, divided by 2, half of 130, 65, 65%, or 0.65. Right, I'm going to leave you with this question. So, I want to see if you can work out the fractional equivalent to my percentage is between 20, 100 and 20 over 50. So can we think of two possible percentages that will go between there? Find a percent that is between 0.15 and 0.2 and a percentage that is between 0.13 and 70 over 200. That last one for Nadia is very tricky. Okay, well, good luck with that, and I will speak to you soon.